Hello, hello, all of the Full Dome community out there around the world. Coming from Los Angeles, my name is Ryan Moore, Executive Director of Dome Fest West, here with Ed Lance, our board chair of Dome Fest West. To start things off, right off the bat, I would love to be bold enough to share the top 10 moments, we won't call them top moments, but 10 moments where we are essentially having major excitement in the Full Dome world in 2024. So this is not an exhaustive list. I apologize to each and every single one of you that should be on this list and did not make it. Please know that you are just as important. But some of these were kind of the big headlines. We're going to start off right off the bat with the world celebrating the centennial of the planetarium. This has been a year-long event where different planetariums around the world have been celebrating in their own way. Of course, we had the IPS conference, which we'll talk a little bit more later in the list, that did celebrate the centennial as well. But 100 years of planetariums. This is a big event and a big celebration of an industry that has impacted and inspired all of us oh so much. Following that, we love to give a huge shout out to Cosm, who opened its first flagship location in Los Angeles. It has since then opened up another great location in Dallas at the Colony there, and then is planning locations in Atlanta and Detroit, and more locations to be announced soon. But essentially, this was a major event in 2024 where entertainment domes that were smaller than maybe a 15,000 person venue really started opening opportunities for audiences in more regions to experience shared immersion and the amazing feeling that we get from planetariums, but with different types of content. And we'll also get to that as well.
And that LED screen is awesome. I mean, you can't beat the LEDs. And this is, flat screens are everywhere. Domes are going to be everywhere. This is a very interesting application because it's set up almost like you're in a stadium. It's a simulation of being in a sports stadium. And I think they're going to be very successful with that sports programming.
Yes. More on that to come. Number 3, and this is a personal favorite of mine, is that electronic dance music comes to the Sphere. If you have been to the Sphere, you understand how steep some of that seating is. There's been concerns that people might fall off. Well, I can personally say, as someone that went to this show myself, there was lots of dancing and no people falling off the railings. So this is a great sign, as the Sphere has, up until this point, kind of programmed acts that have older audiences. This is now a chance for a brand new young audience to also experience it with a less than $900 a ticket price point. That being said, there's so much more to come here. Ed, did you have any thoughts on the
It's just an incredible venue, and the EDM genre is really evolving. Anima, if you've seen their show, you realize it is like a virtual reality experience almost. They've been performing with a giant LED screen, rectangular, and they're just leveling up here. It's really amazing. And my only critique really is that the performers, the dome is so huge, the performers are like little ants trying to impress you, but the presentations in the Sphere are just mind blowing.
Yes, Mateo down here does seem to be very small compared to how the scale just works. Also, what was fun is these two backup cellists were robots, though I'm sure the music industry might have thoughts on that. So we'll just go ahead and move forward. Number 4, Dome Fest West in 2024 moved to Colorado to the incredible Fisk Planetarium, We were so excited to be able to work with them to produce some incredibly kind of new tests of live performances. We had a pitch competition, as shown here in this one slide. And it was a really, really great event and a chance to come into Colorado that's already doing such great work, giving lots of credit to Dan Neefus, Kachun, and a lot of the people that are already working in that area. Thank you so much for allowing us to come.
And I would like to comment, the Fisk Planetarium has been an awesome host. And I think that they're sort of creating a template for next gen planetarium. Their mission statement is, we create innovative, immersive, and inclusive experiences to engage and inspire communities by connecting science, technology, and the arts.
Yes, yes, connecting all three of those. Absolutely amazing. And John Keller, Tito, Francisco, Carla Johns, all of the texts that I am going to get in trouble not naming. We love you all and are looking forward to coming back in 2025 at the Fisk, May 1 through 4, there in Boulder, Colorado. Moving forward to number 5. This one may be a little bit controversial. What does this have to do with the Fulldome world? Well, another step and another opportunity for distribution. This is a big step that Apple took coming into the VR world and ecosystem. It's another big step showing that immersive can come home. And in my mind, and others as well, as we may hear soon, another awesome opportunity for enterprising artists to have an additional distribution strategy or avenue for future productions. Ed, any thoughts?
Well, I would just say that, Eric Hansen, who's a very well-respected visual effects artist and Fulldome animator, producer, is all over this headset. He says it's the greatest thing that he's seen so far in this space. The Apple brought the whole OS into virtual reality. You can augment your home and stuff documents under your bed or whatever. I love it, and but you still have to wear this clunky thing on your head, of course. Hopefully, that gets better over the years.
Yes, yes, yes. We need to increase our sexiness when we put these things on, not decrease it. Um, but yes, it's another step in the right direction, and from a giant like Apple, it's going to make waves as it already has. Moving to number 6, we're looking at the corporate world. HP decided to do their main keynote at the Sphere. This is kind of a start of major brands taking advantage of the exosphere, of course, advertising opportunities, but also using the inside of the Sphere to create a very strong emotional tie and immersive impression tied to a brand. This is something that we've seen in smaller planetariums, but not quite at this scale what HP ended up doing. So this is a great sign. As Ed did point, though, we still have a scale issue here, and it's nice that they have the little what's this called?
iMag, yeah,
iMag.
image magnification, yeah, and which they use in all the concerts as well, because you'd never see the band if you're sitting in the better seats, dome center or a little behind, if it wasn't for the iMag. But I would say, this is what I used to call. I've pitched multiple CEOs on this sort of thing. None of them really went for it, but and especially in a smaller dome, a more intimate environment where you can see the person on the stage. You can do what we call master of the universe, where you're giving a CEO presentation and you wave your hand and kaboom, you're actually interacting with the visuals around you to create a real magical experience. So you guys can do this in your domes now.
Yes, yes, it's possible now, and it's something that domes can pitch to companies that are in their towns. There are use cases like this one that these immersive spaces are great for corporate events. And not only corporate events, but Cosm this year showed us that we have things to learn about sports in the immersive setting. I would love to shout out specifically that Cosm got featured at World Series games 1 and 4 and 5, I believe. I may be wrong. It may have been every single one of them. And in the comments, if you guys don't mind sharing, but essentially sold out incredible experiences, making it feel like you're actually there in the game. And as you see in this case, it's also a majorly powerful example of getting their feeling, being there on the pitch for the soccer match. Again, we have the little iMag kind of inserts. These really do provide that additional kind of close-up ability to see the different players' faces or reactions. That isn't going away, but it is essentially allowing this massive perspective to give the feeling of being there while you still do get those insert shots. It's kind of the best of both worlds.
And this could be not just sports, but Taylor Swift performing live at the Sphere.
Yes.
Someday.
Yes. So someday, Cosm and Sphere, we'll believe in our hearts that everyone will be friends someday. Next, talking about friends, we held, I mean Yena and Immersa, I held a special Fulldome Festival dedicated to the centennial and to the IPS conference that took place in Berlin this summer. It was a star-studded event where just about the who's who and everyone that has been making content or pushing boundaries had a chance to be there and present. This was an incredible event, and we thank the entire IPS team, the Immersive team, and of course the Yena team, Yena Fulldome Festival team, for taking on this incredible endeavor, as well as helping inspire us looking forward. Yeah, we're looking forward to more of those in the future. Ed, I don't know if you want to add any comments on
No,
this.
just wish I was there.
Yes, if you were there, oh man, you were the lucky ones.
Well, you know, Coco, the planetarium that I helped to build, we hosted IPS in '94. And at the time, it was the first hybrid planetarium and digital. But, you know, it's a little bit sentimental. And a lot of anniversaries coming up. I guess that means we're getting older, right, Ryan?
Yeah, that's the signal, like just time moving forward, I guess. But yes, thank you so much for everyone that helped make this event possible and participated. It was majorly inspirational. Next kind of big step. This is something that I don't know anybody had on their bingo card for 2024, except for maybe the teams at the Sphere and Cosm. UFC being featured in domes. It actually works out fairly well. Cosm had live streams to make you feel like you were ringside, and Sphere actually brought the ring inside the dome. So these are, again, massively popular entertainment properties that are embracing immersive technology, allowing audiences to have an experience unlike what they would be able to get anywhere else. Outside of these men just beating each other up, I love this idea. But yeah, I guess UFC is not my quite cup of tea. Ed, would you like to add anything?
No comment, Ryan.
All right. And then we'll move right on to number 10. And I guess this kind of sets us into looking into the future, is that Sphere has announced that they are building another one of their fabulous temples to immersion in Abu Dhabi. We await to hear where this location will be exactly, but it is a good sign that more and more of these type venues are going to be appearing, and therefore they're going to need more creators, more vendors, more exhibitors, more artists, and more inspiration. So everyone that's on this call, You're already doing the right thing. You're already part of the cool kids club. And now we get to look forward to what's to come in 2025. Now, in this case, ooh, I got to stop sharing my screen. In this case, we're going to start off with someone that you might actually all be fairly familiar with already. In this case, I would love to ask Tina to go ahead and pop her camera on. Many of you may know Tina, but Tina Ratterman is a leading specialist in film marketing and distribution with over a decade of experience bringing impactful films to IMAX and giant screen theaters worldwide. She is the founder of Big and Digital LLC and a distribution company that works with museums, planetariums, and theaters to showcase educational and inspiring films, and is also the head of distribution for Fulldome production giant Reef and Soft Machine. Tina can explain a little bit more there. Tina collaborates with filmmakers to take their projects from concept to release while also overseeing comprehensive marketing campaigns for theaters. Her passion for education led her to create the Cinema Learning Challenge, a program that has engaged over 5,500 students with immersive hands-on learning experiences. Tina has also previously served on the board of the Giant Screen Cinema Association, the GSCA, and brings a deep understanding of the evolving technology and audience needs in immersive cinema. So Tina, we'll turn it on over to you. Share what's exciting.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much. Nice to be here, everyone. Thanks a lot. So I'm excited about 2025. I just the whole public enthusiasm about immersive experiences, and there's just new cameras, there's new technology, there's a lot of great stuff that producers are using for great content. There's just really great content for entertainment, not just education, but both education and entertainment, including a new full dome show from the US Space Force. I'm excited because I'm distributing the film through Big and Digital because it is paid for by taxpayer dollars and it's only available to US theaters. And my company started in 2009 and it's based in Las Vegas, Nevada. I also am still head of distribution, as Ryan said, for Reef Distribution. They are based in Munich, Germany. But back to this new show. So I just want to share why I'm excited about this new show, Always Above. It is, so the chief of the US Space Force has led an initiative to produce a full dome show because he visited a planetarium and he just realized this is a great opportunity to showcase the importance of the mission of the US Space Force to protect and ensure unfettered access to the domain. Always Above, Space is Closer Than You Think is a 12-minute full dome show. It's free to domes in America. And what I'm excited about is we're having our industry premiere during Dome Fest West on May 1st at the Fisk Planetarium. And then the public premiere is May 2nd, which is National Space Day. In addition to the film being a high quality show, and it's produced by Scholar in Burbank, California, and GSD&M, which is the ad agency for the US Space Force. And the film is going to be supported both nationally and locally for publicity and marketing. So there'll be a national marketing campaign and local campaigns to support the domes, which will be managed by GSD&M, and they are a very large ad agency. They're just great. They're amazing to work with. The show is not a recruiting video or it's not propaganda. It's produced to be an educational film and a great immersive experience. The mission of the US Space Force is to protect the satellites that keep us safe, that are all circling us. And so a little bit about the film, Always Above explores how close space is to our daily lives. It's also about what satellites are up there and the threats that exist, and how the guardians of the US Space Force ensure space remains accessible for science, commerce, and national security. Always Above also demonstrates how close space is from a physical perspective. It's only 62 miles above us, is where it officially begins. As I said, the film is a 12-minute show. The format is 2D, 4K, 30 frames per second, and for audio, it'll have stereo, 5.1, and Dolby Atmos. But back to marketing and publicity, because I'm a distributor. I'm not a producer, but I love to bring great films to the industry and also have excellent marketing to support it. So my job as a distributor is to get the show on as many domes across America as possible, and also to support you when you do open the film to help you increase your attendance. So I started in the industry as a marketing director in 1997, a lot longer than just a decade, Ryan. But anyway, at the Science Center in Louisville, Kentucky, with an IMAX theater. And that's before I changed careers to distribution in 2003. So I love creating marketing and promotions that generate awareness. So this opportunity to work with GSD&M for this show that's free is just a really great opportunity for me and for the industry. And I recognize the value of what GSD&M and the U.S. Space Force are bringing to the full dome industry. A short list of activation that will happen for this film on a national level. GSD&M will partner with a national media and publishing company. There will be national paid social media, national digital media, custom content, and editorials. They're going to be doing outreach to influencers, targeted media outlets, and with celebrities. So domes that can commit to a minimum commitment of 350 shows. I know that's a lot for some domes, but over a year's time, it's only a 12-minute movie, but the domes that can commit to at least 350 shows, like one show a day or less, right? Will also receive a paid digital advertising campaign for your dome to drive attendance to your dome. So in addition to national, there will be local activation for all the domes who are going to show it, because if it's not on the dome enough, it doesn't make sense to advertise it for that specific dome. So this is why we have to have that commitment. But every dome across the country, fixed and mobile, can show Always Above. You do not have to commit to that many shows. So everyone can show it, and everyone will also be supported on the Space Force website, which will have a dedicated page very soon for Always Above. And all the theaters that are going to show the movie will be included on the website where you can see it, and will be promoted in the national campaign. So you don't have to commit to that many shows to be able to have the show and be involved in it. So, but anyway, so that's the importance for the advertising. But on a local level, the theaters that can commit to that will get geo-targeting and paid social media. And the value, I can talk about the value. If you're a dome and want to contact me, I'm happy to share the impressions that they're going to reach for each market. So it really is a great opportunity to bring awareness to your dome. And I just don't know of this ever happening in the full dome industry. It's happened in the giant screen industry where there's really a lot of marketing support for a film, but I don't know of this in the full dome industry, so I'm pretty excited about it. The one thing I do want theaters to commit before the end of February, because we need to know how many domes are involved for the national publicity campaign. You can open it and sign up later and do a license later, but it's really important to get involved in this national campaign for the maximum benefit for the dome. So that's my goal, February 28th. The show will also be distributed by ENS, SIA Technologies, and Digitalis. So I'm working on sub-distribution agreements with them now. So in 2 or 3 weeks, if you're one of their customers, you're welcome to get the show through them or through me at Big and Digital. I'll put my contact information in the chat just in a minute when I'm finished. The only other thing I wanted to bring up that I really wanted to share, and Ryan touched on it, is we now, Reef Distribution, I'm putting on my other hat, Reef Distribution, we just entered an agreement, and we're now becoming an aggregator of VR content for the Apple Vision Pro platform. There is a new theater app, and we're partnered with them, and this is a theater app where you're sitting in a dome theater, and you can move seats. You can switch seats. It's just called Theater, but it's on Apple Vision Pro, and it's from Sandwich Vision. And I do have a link to a press release I will also put in chat after I'm finished, so that you all can see where the press release. And also, I'm going to try to share my screen if I can do this. Okay, forget it. Oh, yes, here it is. Sorry, I'm talking to myself. So this is the Sandwich Vision app. So it's called Theater Cinemas and Events. So it's on the App Store. This is the only place that it is available. But we have several shows now, about a half dozen, that we're working with Sandwich Vision right now. And then we're going to be adding more. They're very interested in 3D content. Right now, they're interested in more male dominant type of content, not family and kids content, because the Apple Vision Pro headsets are so expensive that the audience right now is still very high end, not kids. It's more adults and mostly techies. So, but I think that will change over time as these become more popular and successful with the platform. So if you have content, you want to get into Apple Vision Pro and you want to contact me for that, we can talk about that as well. I think that is it. I will put, as I said, my contact information in the chat, and I'm happy to answer any questions later. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Tina. Such a cool opportunity for Planetarium Films to be able to just jump into the Apple Vision Pro ecosystem. So great work that you're doing there, and then also great work for the massive marketing campaign that's going to be happening around Always Above. Planetariums in the US, this really is a big chance for you to get some free, very, very impactful advertising because they are going to be spending large amounts of money, six figures and above. Anyways, thank you so much, Tina. We'll go ahead and jump now to our next presenter, Matt Celia. Matt, if you want to jump on, everybody say hello, Matt. Matt is a little bit of a new comer to the Fulldome industry, though he has been working in immersive media for years. He's a visionary filmmaker and an immersive media pioneer with more than a decade of experience in directing, producing, and crafting authentic narratives across a variety of formats. His work spans both narrative and nonfiction projects for major brands as Warner Brothers, NBC, Chevrolet, and Google. In 2015, Matt co-founded Lightsail VR, a leading live-action 360 production company, which has quickly made its mark in the immersive industry because of its specific focus on story-first principles. Under his leadership, Lightsail VR has worked with clients like GoPro, Paramount, Google, Meta quite a bit, and I believe that you could even talk about your new Tiesto project coming out yesterday. But anyways,
tomorrow, I think.
Matt is creating cutting edge content that pushes the boundaries of cinematic storytelling and virtual reality, and also in the Fulldome world. Matt's passion for innovation continues to shape the future of immersive storytelling, and we're excited to have him join us today to share a really cool production tool that he's actually created out of his own frustration. So Matt, I'll turn this on over to you.
Well, thanks so much, Ryan. It's really awesome to be here with everybody. Yeah, I'm Matt Celia. I co-founded Lightsail VR, and I'm obsessed with immersive media. And that doesn't matter if it's in a headset or in a dome. I really love it. I remember as a kid going to planetariums, and those were my favorite experiences of all time. About 10 years ago, when I got into this, we started making content. And very quickly, I found that it was difficult to make the content. The tools were not there. We were having to invent a lot of stuff. And it's also, I think, really tough to be creative when you keep stumbling into technology roadblocks. And one of the big roadblocks I ran into a lot was just seeing my own work and being able to judge. And the way I like to work, I think, is very similar to how, somebody who sculpts a marble statue might work. We rough it out, we keep working on it, we chisel, we get better and better and better and better over a series of iterations. Iterative production is difficult in immersive, and I'm sure you all can relate to how hard it is, because one of the main challenges is you can't just look at a 2D screen and get that same experience of what it is going to feel like for your audience. And at Lightsail, we really have a philosophy of always looking at every creative decision from the perspective of our audience. We want to think about, what are they feeling? What are they going to walk away with? What is the story that they need to experience in that moment? And it can be down to just a scene by scene level. And in order to make those decisions, I really feel like you have to understand what stuff looks like so that you can judge it with your own heart. So for a long time, what we were doing is creating the work, exporting it, putting it on a headset, watching it. And that does work. But the pace of that is frustratingly slow. It just takes forever. And it really takes the creative energy out of the room when you got to wait 1, 2, 3 hours for an export. Because as you know, in immersive, we are working at very high resolutions. We are working at high frame rates. We are working, a lot of times with technology more advanced than the highest budget Marvel films at a fraction of the cost. So I feel everyone's frustration. And I think it's awesome the boundaries we all try to push together. So today, what I want to show off is a little bit of an application that we've created called VR.NDI. And what this does is it helps try and solve that problem to speed up your creative iteration. NDI is an open source-ish technology that basically is, think of it like an HDMI cable, but over the network. So it just takes video signals and puts them over a network. And the advantage of this is it's very easy to take those video signals and sling them everywhere. And it's pretty easy to integrate. So that's why we kind of chose it. I think the best way to do this is just to start sharing my screen and to kind of walk you through it. And then I'll take some questions about how we work on stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and do that right now. I am using DaVinci Resolve. That's just my NLE of choice. But I will say that this works with Final Cut 10, which has NDI support built in. It works with Adobe Premiere Pro with the addition of the free NDI tools on Mac or PC. I just happen to really like DaVinci Resolve because I like the color tools, and I think it's a really solid piece of software. So right here on my screen, what you can see is I have a concert for Red Rocks, which is our Emmy-nominated show that we produce with Meta, where we capture concerts. And I agree with what Ryan was saying previously, that like at Cosm and at Sphere, like concerts are incredible. And I cannot wait to see some of this work projected on a dome. Some of the stuff here is more for the immersive format, but I promise I will be showing some stuff for dome stuff a little later. And what we do here is we go to the color tab, and this is a kind of a step where we can go to Nobe Display, which is a $70 tool that's created by Time and Pixels to get an NDI signal out of Resolve. By the way, if you're on Final Cut 10 or if you're on Premiere, you don't need to do this. That stuff's built in. But I'll need to do it for the purposes of today's demo. I'm just going to load it up here and then, settle this around. So you see I have a bunch of concert footage here. This is in stereoscopic 3D, which my tool also supports, which is pretty exciting. And then I think the next best step here is to actually jump into headset and show you how this tool works. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to stop actually my share. This is a MetaQuest 3 headset. It works on MetaQuest 2. It works on all the other devices. I have a little cool Bobo VR strap, which I really like because this battery, I can like swap it in and out and keep in headset for hours at a time. I'm going to hop in here and let's pray the internet gods work so that I can show you folks how this all comes to be. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to share a casting of my screen. And let's go ahead to casting. Let's start that. Let's see, I will take a quick peek to see if it's going to show up here. There we go. All right. All right, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and just close this for a minute and launch VR NDI. You can see my hotel room digs. So let's go ahead and launch. Cool. So this is the basic interface. It's really simple. It works with a controller, it works with hand tracking. All you have to do is make sure that your headset is connected to the same network as the computer. And you can hit refresh, and it shows up right here. Oh, I think the casting has stopped. 1 second, team. Let's go ahead and turn that back on. Cast.
We'd love to give Matt tons of credit. He is at CES right now, and he is maxing out the hotel Wi-Fi. So good job, Matt.
Thank you. I'm working on it here. All right, let's go ahead and resume this. So you can see here on the app, I hit this refresh button, and my source, my computer I showed earlier, comes up right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and click that. And then I'm going to go to this gear icon here and set the projection to 180 3D, which is what this is. I'll go ahead and hide this window. And really what I'm experiencing here is a 3D image of my timeline. And if I go ahead and decide to scrub the timeline and get to a different shot, I can go ahead and do that. So why is this really important? Well, when you are working in immersive, when you're working in 3D, you may want to place your titles in appropriate space. If you're working in color to color grade, you want to make sure the color grade is going to look really good. And this is one of the best screens. It's like having your own private color suite. So it's a pretty cool event. But let me show you something else that I think is really exciting. And I'm going to go ahead here and click on over to 360 2D in my timeline. And I'm going to go and change my projection. There we go. So that's 360 2D, which is really an equirectangular projection. It's not fisheye, although I'm considering adding that if there's enough clamor for it. So you guys let me know. And what I'll do here is I'll go ahead and just close that window. And I'm going to hit the Meta Quest button and do something kind of fun here, which is I'm going to open up Remote Desktop. And I'm going to go ahead and connect to my laptop that's serving all of this, which I think is really cool. There we go. There we go. All right, let's make that. Let's go here with the mouse and make that bigger. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but what's really kind of exciting about this is that I now have my computer editorially right here on my screen in front of me, and I'm looking at the image. But this image here is 360, and I know most folks on this webinar are using Dome. So let me just show you something I think that's kind of cool. Let me go ahead and we're going to go ahead and I made a cool little mod here where I enabled, I'm going to black out the bottom. So I'm replicating what a dome looks like. And then in Fusion here, I've actually applied a tilt effect. So that I've tilted it up, and I'm doing about 40 degrees, I think. But this is customizable. So now I'm checking out, my titles look pretty good. And I can be editing and then looking at how things feel in the dome. I can really dial in explicitly how far that tilt is for what the dome is. I can check out my cuts. I can check out and understand, do I need to rotate this scene to make that cut more seamless for my audience? Am I introducing too much neck fatigue? The goal of immersion for me is always to keep people locked in as much as humanly possible to the story. And I consider any technical thing a distraction. And if it breaks that immersion for someone, it breaks my heart a little bit. So this is just a tool for me that I like to use to really, really dial that in. So the app is called, I'm going to put this down now. I think that's the end of the demo. Thank you for that. The app is called VR.NDI. And what I would love to do is share the link to the software in the chat. And then I created a 25% off discount for everyone attending today's webinar. So if you wanted to pick it up and give feedback, you absolutely could. But yeah, that is, I will say, Phil, the screen is very jerky. It is because I'm tethered to my cell phone. And yeah, so let me go ahead and drop that in. But I'm happy, Ryan, if you want to field any other questions or technical things, I'm happy to geek out about this stuff.
Well, yeah. First off, is this available today? Is it soon? Is it going to release next week? How can people? Where can people get this?
Great question. So I'm going to right now put into the chat to everyone. Here's the link. It is available today from the MetaQuest store.
Right now.
And when you go to check out, please use the following code, DomeFest West 2025, to get 25% off. It's a one-time fee too, like no subscriptions, none of that anymore.
We do have a couple quick questions from Phil. He's asking what camera for stereo immersive concerts?
Great question, Phil. So my favorite camera of the moment for immersive concerts happens to be the Canon R5C with the dual fisheye lens. And I like this camera for a couple of reasons, but one of them is that it is insanely small. And when you're working with artists, the last thing they want is a camera this big on stage blocking the audience's view of their show. That's a real concern for artists. I firmly believe that the quality of your concert is where you get to put those cameras. And when we work with artists that let us put them wherever we want, it's fundamentally a better show. The other camera we really liked using, especially when we're in the audience, and it's less of a concern, is a red V-Raptor with the same Canon dual fisheye lens. And that just yields an incredible result.
Rock and roll. And Phil was also inquiring about the NDI being a little jerky, and he's wondering if that's your bandwidth or
the NDI being jerky is definitely the bandwidth. The app will run at full frame rate at 4K, no problem. If you're working at 8K, the frame rate of the app will dip a little bit to more of like 40 frames per second instead of Meta's recommended 60, which is not too much of an issue since I usually only go to that resolution when we're in the final color grade and we're kind of pixel peeping a frame at a time anyway.
Yeah, and finally, Phil is asking about the 8K camera, 4K per eye. How does that look on a Dome? Or is it good enough for
I
VR
have not
or Dome?
seen my stuff on a Dome. If anybody here has access to maybe a Dome, I will send you some stuff. I would love to check it out.
Very cool.
Yeah, Matt, throw your email in the chat because yes,
yeah, definitely.
Everyone should definitely become friends with Matt. Joe, just to answer really quickly, it's only a $25 fee in the MetaQuest store, and we get a 25% discount because Matt is so. You surprised me with that one, Matt. Way to go! Thank you. We love you so much for that. But it is a very low cost single payment. You are not getting a subscription. You're not going to have to keep paying month after month, which makes this tool so great, especially for schools, universities. And
it works on, as I said, it works with anything that gives you an NDI source. So we use this tool on set when we're capturing. We plug the camera into it. We have a little piece of software to unwrap the fisheye lenses and put them into VR so we could actually see what it's like projected in a theater while on set in real time capturing it. And when you're looking to get performance and blocking and all those elements, I find that absolutely critical to making good creative decisions.
Very cool. Thanks, Matt.
Yes,
cool.
Very cool. Matt, huge round of applause. And yes, anyone who has additional questions, please go ahead and reach out to Matt directly at matt@lightsailvr.com. And then also check out all of the really great Live at Red Rocks. Emmy nominated, fantastic work. Tiesto just dropped yesterday, I believe, correct? Or Tuesday?
I think it's either today or tomorrow or I don't know. It's good. And we have some more concerts coming up that are, I think, the best yet. So it's really exciting for me.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Matt. We'll have you come back for Q&A. Now we're going to jump to our next presenter, Tom Ammerman. Tom, if you don't mind jumping on your camera, Tom is a Grammy-nominated music producer and one of the pioneers of immersive audio. He founded New Audio Technology, where he's developed cutting-edge tools like the Spatial Audio Designer and Spatial Sound Card used in some of the earliest immersive audio production, including Lucasfilm's Red Tails, fantastic film about the colored flyers. Over the years, Tom has worked with major projects and artists and films like Kraftwerk, you may have heard of him before, Million Dollar Baby, the fantastic movie Gangs of New York. I actually didn't know that one. That's pretty cool. He continues to push the boundaries of spatial sound, offering workshops at international conferences like the Audio Engineering Society, and he'll actually be in NAM in Anaheim this January. So if you're going to be at NAM, make sure to buy Tom a beer. Tom's innovative work has helped him shape the future of 3D and immersive audio experiences worldwide, and we're so excited to have him talk about what he's excited about coming up now in 2025. So, Tom, we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, Ryan and Ed. Yeah, so as I prepared this, my presentation or my talk here, I was thinking, what shall I do? Talking about 10 minutes. So if you give me the right cue, I can talk hours. Don't do it. No, not a wrong question here in the chat, please. Yeah, so we have a lot of cool stuff, and I experience a lot of cool stuff, and I have a lot of interesting ideas what could come up in 25 and the next years. But yeah, my mission is to make more clear or give more awareness about sound. The sound guys, especially in the immersive dome business, are a little bit the stepchild. We feel a little bit like that. It's not. It's friendly mean, and but it's audio sound is 50% of the experience. And I know if I say this, nobody believes me. Tom is saying this. I don't care about it. But the most of you know, it's not me who said that. It is George Lucas. George Lucas has said that. And this is the reason why he invested in so much studio facilities in the Skywalker Ranch, what is incredible, really. So yeah, and Matt gave me the right cue where I could start this talk, because immersive audio is, as most of you know, not that easy. And by the way, stereo and 501 is immersive as well. And I started to produce my first surround music productions in 2000. And this is the time where the surround productions began, where I also did the movie references Ryan already mentioned. And in 2008 and 9, I created my first immersive, so 3D mixes, so a 501 layer and a layer overhead. And as I did this, I saw we have a big problem. So how the hell we should produce or create content in a regular audio workstation, because this is a place where an audio producer is sitting and creating. So nobody of us likes to use new tools to create immersive audio. And because of that, I started to do development, and we did this. The Spatial Audio Designer released in 2011, long before Dolby Atmos. There was a time where Auro 3D was on the market, pretty new. And this tool, until today, is available, and it allows you to create immersive audio mixes for every loudspeaker configuration or channel configuration. Name it as you want. And because of the producers at home or in the studio, mostly, especially in the beginning, has no loudspeaker system like that, we offered from the beginning a so-called binaural reproduction. So you can just use regular headphones, can play 714, 916, 30.2, whatever you want on a virtual loudspeaker system. And sometimes it happens, you listen to it. So, and this is very important that you have this quality of binaural, that you think, oh damn, I forgot to mute the loudspeakers, and then oh no, it's a headphone. So this is what we wanted to reach, and this is what we could do right from the beginning. And what was thank you very much. What was very important for us to have it in the pocket, that you can sit at the beach with a caipirinha mouse and create your stuff for a 30.1 or 30.4 or the sphere dome configuration, just with a laptop in your audio workstation and your preferred audio workstation. And in 2018, we started, or we saw there's an application, or there's a request for how to manage all this content on my dome. So let's say you have a 514, what is the minimum request? Or 714, 714 or 916 or whatever. But how to manage this? And by the way, there's a input. You have an input from a Skype conference or Zoom you want to put on the dome, and you want to play 5.1 from the Blu-ray or DVD player, and you want to output some microphones from your mixing desk. So you need a tool to manage all these sources on the dome, and you have maybe a playback. Tina mentioned it before. Content like Dolby Atmos. Well, in a dome, you cannot really play Dolby Atmos, but the format, Dolby Atmos is mixed in 714 or 916. 916 is more rendering thing, but let's say you have a mix, you create a mix in 916. Then you also want to play this on your dome, and maybe you have more loudspeakers or less loudspeakers. So this is where we started in 2018 to create a tool, the processor that allows you to manage your stuff on the dome. However, it is playback from outside. It's real time from your mixing desk, or played out from your Digistar or PowerDome or whatever. So all these sources has to be managed accordingly on the dome. And now I'm coming back to what is going on in 2025. So I already experienced the Sphere. I had the great honor to be in the premiere of U2, and 2 days later, the premiere of Postcards from Earth. And it is incredible for those of you who haven't been there. It is amazing. And I also have been in the Cosmodome in November, and I saw a football match. Ryan already mentioned it, and I saw an education movie. And this is, well, honestly, that was very surprising for me to see that people buy a ticket to see a football match in such a dome. And as I have been there and I saw this, I said, yes, of course. It's so cool sitting there really inside on this LED screen. And Cosm, as well as the Sphere, care about audio. They have big loudspeaker systems, and they have the tools to manage the audio on these loudspeaker systems. And with such tool, you can also create content for this loudspeaker system, and tools like that dealing with audio on such loudspeaker systems generally. And so this is our history, and this is, well, immersive audio. Just to post this here as well. Immersive audio is very, very emotional, and we get you always. You can close your eyes and don't see what happens. Audio gets you always. Audio, and special spatial audio, is connected to your main brain. So the oldest part of your brain, and triggers all your instincts. So just by creating spatial audio, and the more channels you use, and the more you use them well, so having a good production, the more the audience, and you do not have to be an expert, is excited. So the people will not go out and say, hey, there was a cool 514 mix or 716 mix. They said, don't ask me why, but it was an amazing experience. And this is something what everybody can say. And this is a cool thing with audio. You can get everybody without being an expert instantly, just having a good reproduction system, the tools to create, the tools to manage, and the experience. And this is where this tool is made for, the experience of producers who know to create content for domes for different loudspeaker configurations. And finally, just to mention this here, minimum is, I would say, if you have a 511 dome, you just have to add a quad layer. It's getting 514, and you instantly, and using such a tool like this here, you have a great spatial reproduction system. If you add more loudspeakers, perfect. But this is, let's say, a pretty good starting point. Just having 514, then you can go to 714, 914, and also 30, 60, or 1,800 loudspeakers like in the Sphere. So why not? So do it. And this is a very, very good investment, really. So I think my time is over. And I can also answer some questions. As I said, if I start to talk, I can talk hours about this stuff.
Well, clearly your passion is coming through, Tom. That is actually
Totally.
really cool to hear how easy it is to add a spatial layer.
Yes.
Is this something that you think even artists without engineering expertise are able to do fairly easily with your tools?
You mean in the studio?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
yeah. So in the studio, if you have a 5.1 layer, just adding 4 loudspeakers is good. Mostly the studios, if they think to go to immersive audio, put in 714, because this is Dolby Atmos monitoring recommendation. And so it is not it's not far away. And here is another good news for the audio guys under here. You need not that high quality loudspeakers if you have so many loudspeakers. We need very good loudspeakers for stereo because there are only 2 loudspeakers. But if you have a bunch of loudspeakers, you don't need so many loudspeakers. You don't need so expensive loudspeakers. That's a pretty cool thing.
That's awesome to hear. And I do have a great example of people being blown away by spatial audio. I had a chance to go see the Eagles there at the Sphere. And there's a point in one of the songs where Joe, their guitarist, has a solo. And they did an IMAG. They threw Joe at the very top of the Sphere, and they had that solo guitar audio coming down from the roof. And literally everyone in the area I was around sitting in, just mouths on the floor, staring straight up, asking themselves loudly, how are they doing this? How is this even possible? And that is the type of emotional experience that it seems like you're referencing. Do you feel like this is gonna we need to continue moving this way towards higher spatialization?
Absolutely, but we should care about that we not start to do, let's say, only mixes, stereo plus effects. So we should care about making a huge event. So putting the listener into the music experience more that way than flying guitars, moving drum kits and stuff like that. This is the main failure we made in mix as we started mixing 5.1 music. So this is not a good approach. Using effects, yes, of course, depending on what mix production you have. If you have Kraftwerk, you have a lot of sounds you can put to everywhere. This is cool. But if you have a classic reproduction or just a solo singer with guitar on the stage, this is not the, I would say, what you should do for such an application.
Yes, probably not play around with it too much. And it was something that just in a moment
It's cool.
surprised us.
Why not? Why not using this effect? But this is what I want to point it out. So the experience is more the whole experience. You sit inside, not the effects moving around, more sitting in the event and just getting excited emotionally just by the big sound you experience there.
Very, very cool. Yep, we've got a question here from Joe. He says, how about natural sound for nature documentaries? Would you have any suggestions on how to capture and mix that well, spatially.
Please don't capture it as an ambisonic. Sorry.
Wait,
Capture just
please go on, because ambisonic was everyone's
yeah.
thing for a little
Oh
while.
yeah,
no,
tell
no,
us about that.
Please.
Well, the point is capturing real audios like soundscape is amazing playing it in such an environment. If you use just 4 microphones, and my personal recommendation is Omnis, and put them on a square around about a meter in the square, then you can capture fantastic sound, and you can just play it on the dome without any post-processing. You can make it immersive by doing another one a meter away overhead. That's it. You can play it instantly. You don't need any decoding, encoding, la la la. You can play it on a 30-channel dome. You can play it on a 514-channel dome. You can also play it on 5.1 if somebody has not a 5.1 dome. This is very, very straightforward. It's easy and it sounds amazing. The sound is, in my personal experience and meaning, in opposite to an ambisonic where you have recorded everything at the same place. You hear the runtime differences, and the reason and what happens is the hair. What is the name? You get goosebumps. You think so? It's not. Oh, it's nice. No, the experience is. What the hell is going on here in a good way?
Well, I think ambisonic. One of the reasons that people might want to use that is there's standard microphones you buy off the shelf. And what you're talking about, is that like a bespoke? You have to make your own microphone array?
You're right. So the big advantage of ambisonic is you can buy it and hold it wherever you want. It's working. So it's easy. You can put it on a camera. You can move around with the camera. By the way, a pretty good idea. We did it with a real microphone 20 years ago, and it's amazing. So if the audio scene follows the video scene, it's amazing. And this is the reason. And if you, however you hold, how you hold the microphone, you can edit it later in the audio workstation. So you always have the right direction. So this are 2 pretty good or very big advantages of ambisonics, but sound quality is not an advantage.
Some of the events that we produced are live, and what tools are there that would allow you to conduct sounds on a dome real time?
Oh, this one here. So
okay, great. So
it's a plugin. You can put it in your audio workstation, Pro Tools, Nuendo, Logic, whatever you want. And you can send every track in your audio workstation, could be a live input as well, to the plugin. The plugin has a loudspeaker configuration. You can create this. You have a bunch of output, depending on how many loudspeakers you have, connected directly to your loudspeaker system. And then you can move, place, and automate every audio source you have in real time or playback or both in your audio workstation, just on the dome in real time, of course.
Right. But are you using a mouse on a screen, or is there some sort of other way of conducting an immersive performance? Just curious.
Yeah. So what you can do is, of course, in regard of conducting, you can, of course, connect the tracking system. The plugin and the processor speaks OSC. And so that way you can also connect the mixing desk, what has a joystick or something else. I personally prefer to work with the mouse. I know some guys who try the trackball or a so-called 3D mouse, but finally, so think about, you have to work hours with that. And if you have a trackball, okay, but if you have something, there are also tracking systems who work with your hands, so you can move this way. You do it an hour, but not 10.
Yeah.
Drive crazy.
Well, like a leap controller where each finger is a sound source, and you're doing this over a little dome or something.
Absolutely. But this is artistically, this is live performance. This is on stage, and you have to track it.
Right.
Of course, you can, in both tools, you can move you can connect the audio sources, live or playback audio sources to these movements. Yes.
Very
Awesome.
cool.
We've got a question. Phil, hello, Phil. Phil saying, my IMAX guy says that a Zoom H2N in 4 capsule mode is good enough for dome and giant screen. Do
Please,
you agree?
please repeat it. Repeat it.
An IMAX sound guy has said that a Zoom H2N in 4 capsule modes. So here, maybe I'll pull up a Zoom H2N so you can see.
I think I know it. Yeah. Well,
because
let me say, well, this is also my personal opinion. Is this is also a question of what you expect. So is enough? It's kind of spatial, or is enough? I'm totally frightened in a good way. What happens here? And using 4 microphones is not that difficult. It's difficult for it's difficult for a non-audio person, of course, but it's very difficult. It's totally not difficult for an audio person getting 4 or 8 microphones, putting them on stands or on a kind of a spider or something like that. And so this is not a big deal, and it is very flexible. But as I said, you can play it on a big dome, on a small dome, on 5.1, 7.4. So you're open to use it. So, well, if this guy is saying this, then his expectation is maybe, well, you have a kind of spatial, but you don't have a big spatial or a high quality spatial experience. And what I said before, you do not have to be an expert to hear it. Everybody has instantly the feeling, oh damn, it's free. It's a dome open, or it's oh yeah, it's kind of spatial, yeah, or not, or maybe could be. So there is a big difference. Everybody can hear it.
great point. Joe Witt is asking you to compare an orchestra to a rock band performance. Eh, I don't know if I fully understand the question, but yeah, maybe how you would capture them or mix them differently.
Oh, absolutely. So when you mix an immersive and you do an immersive mixes depends very much on what kind of content you have. So content is very much ruling how you work with the audio sources. So classical, it's more a room. It's more sitting in the third row or something like that experience. You can also put the orchestra a little bit around you, but this is all the classic guys send you to hell, to the classical mixer hell. You shouldn't do this. But however, if you like it, why not? So there are possibilities, but they're with a rock band. The possibilities depends on. So you can do some tricky things, but my personal opinion, if it is really a rock band, so 2 guitars, a bass player, drums, and keyboards, then you could increase. You can make larger the keyboards. You can position the lead, the guitar players a little bit. If the guitar players have delays, you can work with the delays and the surround or to the heads. These are things, my personal opinion, you can do. Or you should do, but finally it's up to you what you like. And if your customer pay for it, okay, no problem, but I wouldn't do it.
Well, thank you so much, Tom.
Okay.
Let's keep
Thanks a lot.
you on. And yes, round of applause for Tom and his presentation on these great tools. Let's go ahead and pull Matt and Tina back on the screen. And we also do actually want to shout out to Russell Phillips with Dome Guys. I'm going to share a screen really quickly. He's not able to join us, but Dome Guys, fantastic team that specialize in geodesic domes as the structures. So if you're needing any sort of structures or ideas, please reach out to Dome Guys, and they can help there. I think my doorbell just went off, which is a little weird. So I'm going to turn this over to some questions that we have for each of our panelists. And Tina, let's start with you. As a distributor, you have a really great perspective, an inside perspective. Can you share with us how maybe Full Dome filmmakers can collaborate more effectively with distributors and exhibitors like yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Ryan. I think to collaborate more efficiently, they should start early. Producers should start early talking to distributors before you finish your film. Because it's really good to involve feedback from film buyers before you finalize your film or your rough cut, show them rough cuts to get their feedback to make sure your film does not have anything in it that's going to be a deal killer, that they're going to say, no, I can't show it because I don't like this or that. So if you can get the feedback from the buyers working through your distributor, that's your distributor service is helping you with that process. So I think that's a very important one, is working early. And then also I am, this is maybe biased, but I think being an exclusive distributor, having an exclusive distributor is beneficial, because if you have one exclusive distributor, then they have sub distributors who also sell your film and represent your film. It goes wider, but that primary distributor is the one who's managing the marketing campaigns, the launch, the PR, the publicity, and making sure it's not just put in a catalog, it's marketed and launched properly. So that would be my recommendation to producers, is really involve distributors and exhibitors early on in the process.
Great point. Yeah, I've heard a lot of artists kind of talk about how their film gets put in a catalog and kind of away. So
Well, yeah, I mean, that brings up the bigger issue of this, especially the planetariums, where you have a film that licenses for 10K a year. And especially, with any kind of evening entertainment, there's not a lot of theaters running those kind of programs. And how are you supposed to fund a high quality show with 10K a year licenses? And this was our reason that with Mesmerica, with the world's distribution platform, Mesmerica, Beautifica, and all, why we just rent out the theaters and run it ourselves and do our own marketing and everything, because we can make 10 or 20K a night from a single theater running 3 shows, whereas a 10K for 1 year of the producers basically are not benefiting if they produce a high-end show that sells a lot of tickets. That's just kind of flat rate, and that's really not working for anybody. It's not elevating the quality of the content. It's not rewarding the producers who put so much effort into these shows, whether it's entertainment or educational or whatnot.
Yeah, I agree. I think the gate share licenses are much more, are great. They're much better. I mean, they aren't always better. They could be very low returns of royalties if it's a small dome and they don't show the film very often. But if it's a good film and they're showing it often, gate share is a much better profitable option for the producers and the distributors. But
Yeah.
most of the time we do a mix, like, we'll do flat fees because the industry is used to the flat fees, and then we do gate share as well.
Yeah. The giant screen cinemas have it going on with the gate share for sure.
Yeah, but full domes are doing it now too, so that's good.
yeah, we will catch up. Producers, have courage. We will find ways of getting the money to trickle down. It's happening more and more. And yeah, so there's reasons to be optimistic. Tina is on your side. Know that. Tina is on your side. Matt, jumping to you real quick, seeing as that you are very much in the weeds with making content. The Verge had this great article series called What's in Your Bag, Matt? Well, I would love to ask, Matt, what software are you using to make really, really great immersive productions? What is in your bag, Matt?
Oh, great question. So much technology. But here, generally, my bag involved the software that we use is when we're on set, we use a Simulate Scratch to do live real-time preview. That, of course, works with VR.NDI, which I showed off earlier. We use Mystica Boutique to do all of our processing and 3D and VR We do use that for color correction a lot, but lately we've been using a lot of DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve Studio is incredible. It's $300. It's for like a lifetime license, like still using the same thing I bought like 10 years ago, right? And what's amazing about it is it keeps getting better, and you can have folks editing, doing visual effects and color grading all at the same time without any round tripping needed. Just really improving the speed of stuff. There's another app that I've created called Screening Room, which is it's like Frame.io in a VR headset. Because again, watching this in VR is really important to giving notes. And so I was frustrated about having to like watch something, take off the headset, remember what I was thinking about, remember what the time code was, type it in an email, send it to somebody. So now you can do that all in VR. You just watch it, you click give a note, you can type in the note if you have a tracked keyboard connected. So that's been a critical piece of software that I use in my bag to create the work. Yeah.
Awesome. And do you have any like previs tools that you really like, or any sort of pre-production type processes?
It's a great question. I think pre-production with this stuff just takes a lot. It's different on everything. What I've been using recently that's been very helpful is I've actually taken my phone and used like the Scaniverse app, and I've actually like scanned sets in like photogrammetry, and then brought that into the Unity game engine and started messing around with where to put the camera and putting in like blocks of like scene and blocking to try to get a sense of the spatial geometry. Because, when you're on set, it's easy to kind of like think about it, stand in the room. I'm standing here, my eyes are where I'm thinking. But, have like 30 minutes for a location scout. So, and then spend like iterating and going through like how I want it to work and how are we
Oh no, Matt. Hey, Matt, we're having some latency issues.
Hotel bandwidth.
Yeah, the hotel Wi-Fi is busy.
Visual effects.
Oh no. Sorry about that, Matt.
Here, I'm gonna turn off my video. You guys, give me back again.
There we go. Yeah. Do you want to finish or just rehash the last minute and a half? Oh. That's CES. It's all the nerds using all the Wi-Fi in Las Vegas right now. No worries, Matt. Come back when you can. Tom, we'll jump to you real quick. You've got these great tools, all of these great concepts, and there's a lot of planetariums that look at them and go, wow, that would be super nice to have, and that looks shiny and expensive. How can smaller full-dome venues really access some of these cutting-edge audio technologies without overspending? How would you recommend?
Yeah, what I said. So if you have a 5.1 system, just add 4 loudspeakers as a height layer. Some of the planetariums has a 5.1 layer, what is a little bit elevated or in the middle of the dome. So then you have to put it a little bit lower and put the 4 loudspeakers to the top. But then you have a spatial audio dome. And if you have a content who is made for that, for spatial audio, however it's a Dolby Atmos or made for your dome, you're good to go. And the cool thing is, so what I said, this is very, very cheap, so everybody can create content for your dome. And this is not that cheap, but also not so expensive, so helping you to deal with the audio on your dome. And both of the systems, and I always forget to mention this, both of the systems, especially this guy, it's all object-based. So if you switch the rendering format, the output format, you instantly hear all the sources, all the object, moving, placing on a big dome, on a small dome. So it's not kind of up mixing or down mixing. It's rendered separately, discretely to the given dome loudspeaker configuration. This is for the production pretty good to have such a production, because you can render it for a dome with 10 loudspeakers for 5.1. You can offer 51714 in general, and everybody who wants to have more can also use this, or who has this one can play it instantly in that dome, just opening this loudspeaker configuration.
That's
I
awesome
don't
to
think.
hear. Yeah, it's just as simple as maybe adding 4 more channels rather than having to
Yes.
buy
Yeah.
hollow plot.
Well, yeah, if you could,
Massive.
well, but honestly, a holoplot system is in a small dome or in a normal sized dome, a holoplot system is not really applicable.
Okay,
Need a
good
big
to
one.
know. So yeah, smaller domes. Yeah, sounds like there's some pretty inexpensive.
Not a big system. They have smaller systems, they work, but I don't know if I think there's a gap in between. I don't know exactly if it is really that big, but there's a gap in between.
Gotcha. Matt, it's good that we have you back. Maybe you could just rehash the last 90 seconds of talking about pre-production, and then Tina, we're going to jump to you for another question.
Right. Fingers crossed here. So I think I was talking about how I bring stuff into Unity from photogrammetry and I play with blocks and things. And I think that the point I'm trying to make is understanding how things work spatially, especially if you're doing really complicated visual effects shots or anything where you're going to have a limited number of takes and time on set to do it. Previs is vital. There's some cool tools that I think AI is going to really help creators with. And one of those I would strongly encourage people to check out is called Playbook 3D. And I've met these guys recently and they're phenomenally talented and they've created something for both desktop and VR. You can get in, generate your set, then you can even run it through style frames that uses some AI gen stuff to just give it a look and feel. And like for me on that AI thing, I think it's just important if it helps you communicate your vision as an artist to the other members of your team, it's useful. And I think that's where it really, really works.
Really great point. Really great point. It's all about trying to communicate on set and working towards the same goal. Tina, all right, our friend Leo from the amazing producer of Antarctic Uruguay. He wanted to ask if distributors prefer animated productions to live action films. Is there any preference?
So thank you, Leo. Hi, Leo. There really isn't a preference. I think the live action is new to the dome. For Full Dome, live action footage is new. So I think more of it is good if it's done well. I think Reef's gonna be doing more live action science documentaries because I want more science documentaries to distribute. Because there's a need for those in the science centers and the educational venues. So we would be doing more science documentaries with live action as well. But I think the animation is still very good. It depends on the audience and the content. I think the product, what it is. If it's for kids, yeah, animation is great. Even adults animation is great, but it's the content, I think, that should drive whether it's animated or live action. And I don't think one over the other is better than the other. I think.
Yeah, there is some difference. With animation, you really have more control of lighting. The live action, if you're outdoors, often there's a sky overhead, a very bright sky, and you have the cross bounce problems in domes, especially projection domes. LED domes help tremendously with that. But if you just take a camera out and start shooting, you might find that some of the scenes don't look great when projected, and so you have to have extra care in that. And if you're shooting for VR, you don't have that issue at all. So some live action films don't transfer well to the dome, but if you know what you're doing when you shoot and in post, you can put gradients and whatnot. That you can do a much better job with the live action.
Yes, I think Leo was referring also, yeah, to if projection it was an issue. So thank you so much, Ed, for helping clarify that. Let's see, Matt, jumping back to you real quick. seeing as that you work mostly in the VR space and now somewhat in the AR space, you guys had the fantastic Amazon project. Um, what VR tools do you think Fulldome creators could really benefit from if they start using them now? And then let's get to the Unreal question that Audrey put in, because that's also another one. But just let's talk VR tools that Fulldome creators could benefit from. Oh, we got to unmute you.
There we go. We kind of consider everything in this immersive space, really, and so a lot of the tools that we use when we consider how we tell stories in VR, I think, do translate with some small tweaks, of course. But a lot of it is what I kind of talked about in my presentation of how do we see stuff when we're on set capturing it? How do we see stuff in editorial to make sure that the storytelling is coming through? Making sure titles are placed right, like all those small details. So the tools that I've built have really helped me do that. How do we give feedback and help people in the creative process just see the work while it's in production is also good. I know that I've been using Festoon, which is a popular tool, a lot to review a lot of Dome stuff. And, I think that the more feedback we get from the community on what kind of tools they need and what problems they have, I think there is a bunch of folks willing to help solve those problems. So I think just keep talking. Don't sit there frustrated. Shout and ask.
Yes, good point. Good point. And this is a big goal that we have at Dome Fest West, getting all the creators together and complaining about our problems so that we can know how to solve them. That great points there. Now, Matt, can you touch a little bit on the Unreal exporting equirectangular subject, or should that be something that maybe saved for later?
I mean, I responded. There's a plugin for Unreal Engine called Offworld Live. That's quite good, and we helped them really improve it a lot when we were working on a project with them. And so I do think it's pretty good. There's also some plugins for Unity as well that you can use. So either platform that you're using, there's a good way to render out an equirectangular. Yeah.
And so you would say render out equirectangular, then cut it into Fulldome. Go
Yeah,
that route.
I would do it that way. I don't know if they support Fulldome out the gate. Again, that's a feature that people can ask for, but equirectangular tends to be a more supported format for a lot of plugins and stuff working in the space, just because I think there was more investment and more energy put into the VR world 10 or so years ago. And so, sometimes you got to just jump hop a format or two before you get to what you want.
Yeah, we've been rendering mostly full sphere equirectangular, and that gives you the flexibility to adjust camera tilts and do rotations and interesting post effects as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say even when we shoot 180 and we make 180 content, there are times we've shot on a 360 camera for 180 for precisely that reason, Ed, is like we want to be able to reframe it in post to help tell that story.
Yeah, and there are now, Cosm, for instance, requires more than a hemisphere in their theater. Mm-hmm. So there's going to probably be more and more theaters like that, custom kind of theaters that will do that. Although I have to say, I mean, having a standard is a good thing. And like for instance, if you have text, well, where do you cut the text off? How high do you put it in the frame? Everything, everybody has a custom theater format, then it becomes more and more difficult to format for them. But and IMAX was, set the standard for giant screen, and everybody pretty much came along and copied that, if you will, or conformed to that standard. We created the DIGS standard through GSCA, and that makes it easy on the producers, distributors when they just know how to format for everybody. But that's an ideal world. Maybe we'll get to that someday.
Fan of standards. As somebody, and I think Tom can probably relate to this, I've done so many outputs of just different audio because no one seems to have a standard immersive audio format. It's like
audio's the worst.
second order ambisonics, third order ambisonics, whatever this two big ears thing is, Dolby
You drive
Atmos,
crazy.
5.1,
You drive
7.1.
crazy.
Oof.
Yeah. This is the reason why we started with this, because we know we are in an audio station. We have a certain kind of audio sources, and we have to work with this properly for different, let's say, output renderings. And going that way allows you to provide to your customers every format. So the object-based format rendered by the processor in real time, or 7.1, 5.1, 7, blah blah blah. You can render everything.
That's awesome to hear.
High quality.
High quality. Yeah, yes, we actually will be I mean, I don't want to change subjects, but a Fulldome Forum coming up next month. We'll be hitting this topic specifically on cinematography, and at some point we'll need to do sound and graphics as well, special effects, VFX. So many Fulldome films are relying on those. Just yeah, how do we shoot once and be able to deliver for many different output formats?
And we still have openings for that Fulldome Forum if anybody wants to talk about live action technique.
Yes,
I will say,
yes,
Ryan, one of the things that we're doing at Light Sales, we are really always trying to target the highest thing, even, and then just ladder it down. So like we'll finish everything in HDR with Dolby Vision, even though MetaQuest can't do HDR. We'll just give them a tone mapped version. That way, if we ever want to take our stuff to Vision Pro for whatever reason, we already have it. You know, I really encourage people to think future, because the tech we all make and the content we all make, it should be very viable for years and years to come as audiences catch up.
Exactly the way we go with the audio as well. So starting on the highest level, being as flexible and compatible as possible, and then tier it down to whatever you need.
Well, this is actually kind of perfect because, yeah, Tom, our last question was going to be, yeah, what would be your personal goals for sound content creators to lean into for 2025? What would be just your simple goals?
Well, yeah, I wrapped it down if you want. Having the right tools, thinking about, and we had a question in the chat about this as well, thinking about what is cool, what is too geeky, what is too effect stuff, what really excited the audience. And this is a very important point. This tool helps you to do it the way you want. So it's not leading you to one direction. You can do it the way you want. You can also convert it to ambisonics if you want. And thinking about immersive audio. Here are the tools to create it, to reproduce it. But if you have a small dome with 5.1 and you want to add 4, you must not have such a box. It is enough if your producers have this one and can create the content for you. And if you create a show, what you want license, this one offers you the opportunity later to put it to Dolby Atmos if you want. Of course, we can also do Dolby Atmos with that, or 5.4 or 5.1, whatever you need. So this is what I hope what happens more, that the content creators of dome shows also think about the audio content creation, not at the very last time. So, oh damn, we have no money more, but we need audio. What happens very often in smaller productions, the larger the production becomes, the more the audio stuff, the music and the audio stuff is right from the beginning of the planning. But you can do this also in a smaller production. Why not?
Very good points. Ed, any last thoughts? Otherwise, I'd love everyone to give out their contact details one more time.
But yeah, I think we're good. You guys are great. I mean, this has been really an awesome conversation. Matt, you're just a wellspring of information, and I was taking notes as you were, all the different software packages. And Tom, I'd love to play with your spatial audio designer. That looks like a really interesting tool. And Tina, always appreciate you and bringing your energy into this space. It's awesome.
Just
One of the
just
few
wait.
really good marketing people in the space, really.
Very true. And to give her credit, this Always Above film is very, very cool. People will not be disappointed. Tina has been doing amazing work with them, and it really shows. So, actually, maybe Tina, let's start with you. How can people reach you one more time? You already gave us your information in the chat, but yeah, just maybe one more verbally.
Yeah, so you can reach me at Big and Digital. It's T Ratterman at biganddigital.com. And then Reef is T.Ratterman at reef-distribution.com. So I'll put them in the chat again. But thanks everybody. And thanks. Ryan got to come see the rough cut of Always Above, I don't know, 3 weeks ago or so. So thanks, Ryan, for coming to give feedback. Thanks.
It's good. Matt, how can people get in touch with you and connect more?
Dropped my email into the chat, matt@lightsailvr.com. You can see some of our work at lightsailvr.com. For folks interested in Unreal and that stuff, we did do some stuff for the Sabrina Carpenter concert. All the 3D scenes with her 2D footage is done in Unreal, which is cool. Stay in touch. Hit me up on LinkedIn or Facebook, and I just love geeking out about immersive media. So it was a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, Ryan, for the invite.
Absolutely. Also, one big shout out. Matt is one of our judges for the 2025 season. Now, that doesn't mean that you can bribe him, though maybe you can. I don't know. Matt has his price. You'll have to talk to him. But anyways, thank you, Matt, for joining us and sharing. Tom, how can people get in touch with you one more time?
Oh yeah, so website, I posted the website and my email address into the chat, but it's very easy to find us. It's a very German way to name a company. So the company name is what we do, New Audio Technology. Very easy.
Hey, simple. We like that
Very simple.
a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, it's a huge round of applause again for this whole team. Thank you so much, all the attendees that have joined us. I do want to really quickly promote a few things. Number one, our final deadline for Dome Fest West submissions is January 17th. So if you are a Full Dome creator, you have just over 1 week to please submit your film for the 2025 season. We have excellent content this year and a great lineup of speakers and presenters, as well as a huge exhibition space called Fulldome Forward that will be at the festival. So we're really looking forward to a big representation, not just from the industry, but also from the artists. Also, I want to promote that next Tuesday, January 14th at 11 a.m. Pacific, we're going to be jumping onto the satellite platform, the Fulldome Metaverse platform, and watching Sergei Prokofiev's amazing architectural immersive essays. It's a collection of 5 films. If you want to find out more about that, you can go to domefestwest.com and then look up the Metaverse screening series. You just need to register via Eventbrite. It's free, though it is capped at 49 people. That's all the people that can fit on the platform. So get your ticket, be one of the 49, because 50, you get booted. Sorry. And then the last thing that I really want to promote is something that I'll actually throw to Ed. It's going to be our next Fulldome Forums presentation taking place the day before Valentine's Day. And we're going to be talking about, Ed, take it away.
Effective cinematography for modern planetariums and immersive venues. So do join. And hey, it's great to see everybody, friends, old and new. And you all take care.